Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mario Sunshine 100%. We're finishing Rico Harbor this part, so we'll be moving on to another world after this. So, huzzah for that.
Can't you not finish Rico Harbor because you need Yoshi?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, Yoshi's Fruit Adventure.
That's like one of the weird things about this game is that you can do mostly everything the first time you go in, except for randomly like this handful of Yoshi, like the handful of Yoshi things. Actually, don't you unlock Yoshi in the net? No, you unlock Yoshi in the fourth
world. Yeah.
So
some missions require a different nozzle unlock as well.
And you unlock nozzles at specific shine sprite thresholds.
Story points.
Story points, okay.
Yeah.
But I thought that the story point was shine sprite total.
So, but they go hand in hand.
Well, yes.
The bottom line is you basically can't do things until you follow the linear path of the main quest progression up to a certain point.
That singular red coin is the reason this mission sucks. Oh my god.
To me, I don't think it's the placement of the coin. It's just, if you run into any wall, you die.
But it's also just like such a finicky, hard to make jump, and then trying to get back to make another. Also, that
you play sick games, Ryan.
You
should
really go the other way either.
You should have died there.
I didn't.
God.
There's a specific point in the blooper surfing hitbox where you have to directly impact in order for it to count as a loss.
Oh, okay, cool. No, don't repeat last time. Yeah, it's like you're going around the long way because you really don't want to risk the shit that happened in the original commentary.
If you die here, you have to do the whole thing all over again.
Yep.
Oh man,
it's been so long.
Isn't there another red coin blooper too to do? Or am I misremembering this?
Wait, what was that?
Isn't there another red coins that you have to do on the blooper surfing? Or
I think in the tunnel, maybe. I don't know.
Not that I remember, but it's been a while.
No, the one in the tunnel is time based.
Yeah, because this game loves red coins. For the record, there's like 3 missions in every world that require red coins.
Although most of them are in the platforming areas,
So there's 2 red coin missions in every overworld, plus a secret red coin mission in each of the platforming areas. So some levels have 4 red coins.
My favorite mission in every level: chase fake Mario and inevitably catch him 2% of the way into the level because he's so goddamn slow.
It's also just frustrating if you do happen to miss him though. If you're not good at playing the game, because he gets hard to find. Because he's so small. Like the music does change when you get close to him, but some of these levels are pretty big, and especially the ones with more verticality involved with them, it can be hard to tell where he is sometimes.
Well, I mean, he always waits for you, so...
Speaking of the proximity thing with the music, I had a cursed idea.
What was that?
Mod for the Silent Hill 2 remake, but instead of the staticky noise that the radio makes, it just plays...
The Shadow Mario theme.
Yeah.
I feel like something like that has probably been done as an addendum to the Thomas the Tank Engine monster meme.
It's true. Maybe? I don't know.
When did Evil Thomas become a meme? Because I was never a Thomas the Tank Engine kind of kid. I was more of a, Blue's Clues kind of kid.
The Evil Thomas thing mostly stems from the fact that the world's kind of dystopian when you really think about it.
Oh yeah, where if you stop becoming useful, you just get taken apart and left for dust in a world that... No, wait a minute. That's just our world. Also, when they're not on the tracks...
Mario, wrong way.
What do they do? Are train people allowed to go to the movies?
Yeah, they probably go to the grocery at 6, 7 in the morning.
Do they have their own parks? What if a train person wants to go on vacation? Can they? What does a hotel for a train look like?
What does track and field mean to a train?
I have a question. How much of Mario's brain matter do you think Flood has sucked out by now?
What's your basis for this?
every time, like almost every time Ryan collects a star, he does the thing that causes FLUDD to...
Yeah, he was like...
Yeah, right through Mario's skull. He's a fucking illithid.
Maybe every time Mario jumps into a portal to another stage, remember, he fucking deatomizes for a moment. And when he reconfigures, his brain matter is magically restored.
How do we know then that this is the same Mario, or did the original Mario's consciousness end? All these questions and more shall not be answered.
The original Mario died in 83.
I mean, philosophical question. If someday we figure out how to copy our brains into computers and become immortal robots, will we not ourselves die and instead replace ourselves with copies of ourselves that are different consciousnesses?
Isn't that the basis though for it? Like, technically, like uploading your brain to a computer is not you transferring, it's copying. So the original body still dies. You're dead.
Yeah. No, this is not only a conundrum that, you know, has existed in science fiction almost as long as the genre has existed, but this is also, ideas similar to this have gone far back as like the very beginnings of philosophy. So don't worry, people have been freaking out about this stuff longer than you can possibly imagine.
Hey, it's been a while since I had a good dose of existentialism.
Yo, I love a good dose of existentialism. Do you ever just shoot a guy on the beach just because you
Hold on, we knife or we shooting him?
And then wonder that somebody would just throw you in jail just because they think that you should and not whether or not you actually did the crime?
Although I will say the way early science fiction handles the issue is a bit weird at times, because the writers often didn't understand the, like, everyone was at a like, computer science was at a point where we didn't really understand the importance of software.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've been thinking about this, and I'm not an expert. Oh my god, I only just realized that as soon as you clear the goop away from the lighthouse, the graphic for the button at the top that you need to press is still loaded in. So you can see it at the very, very top of the screen.
Yeah, you can see it. I think it's always there.
Mario's an asshole. He just left that Toad to deal with being covered in gunk.
There's a perfectly good ocean literally 5 feet behind him. He can go take a dip.
His body literally dissolved into the ground. I think this is my least favorite level in the game, Gelato Beach.
No, that's Noki Bay. Noki Bay. I can't
Noki
stand.
Bay is also not good. I don't really like that level either.
There are a lot of contenders for the most annoying thing in Super Mario Sunshine, but I will say this level kind of sticks out because of the watermelons.
Oh, isn't the watermelons a different stage?
Nope,
though?
watermelons are this stage.
That's the stage.
Okay. Oh yeah, the watermelons.
To be fair, the watermelon mission is episode 8, so it's technically optional. You don't have to do it.
So that's part of the thing that I was getting at in an earlier part is that the first time you play this game and you're just playing it as you go along, you don't know what you need to do and what you don't need to do because it's not really ever made clear. You specifically have to get to level 7 in every world. So when I was playing the game as a kid, for example, I spent 3 hours on the pachinko machine trying to beat it and not being able to because I didn't know any better. And I can imagine there are plenty of kids in the same situation who spent 3 hours on the stupid goddamn watermelons, not knowing that was optional either.
I spent a lot of time on the watermelons. Got the pachinko machine done pretty quick, though. The same way all pro pachinko players do. Sheer dumb luck.
That's the thing about the pachinko machine is sometimes you do just luck your way into getting it done fairly easily. The watermelon is far more finicky.
I love luck-based missions.
The thing about the physics in Super Mario Sunshine being so fiddly is that you can, like, intellectually understand what it is you need to do in order to... Why did you wait until he was clean?
No, because he realized, I never cleaned him off. Yeah, here you go.
He's already fine.
I'm already clean!
But, like,
yeah, I'm gonna promise you, Lewis. I'm gonna promise you that I'm gonna do your laundry forget to do it, and then 3 days later come with the fire hose and being like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to do your laundry."
Here you go.
This is an interesting set piece, but as I was saying, like the problem with Sunshine's physics being so fiddly is that you can intellectually understand what it is you need to do to solve a particular puzzle, but actually executing it is another matter, you know?
Yeah. Like, fiddly is just one of the words to describe this game. Like, because these things here with the cataquacks are the name of those guys.
The cataquacks. God damn the cataquacks.
So, it makes sense what you're supposed to do, and if you talk to somebody, they kind of explain it, where you need to stun them with the water, push them to the edge, then go all the way over and ground pound and flip them off, like that. It's just, sometimes it just doesn't work, and you don't really know why. You know,
I'm now imagining Mario just standing there giving them the birds, like, oh, you mean that, flip them off.
Oh, man.
Not
But
exactly
yeah, no,
a
this
positive
is an
role model
interesting
for the
mission
children,
in-
Mario.
This is an interesting mission in concept. The frustrating thing about... Oh, wait, no. The Sandbird level is the next level.
No, there's one more before the Sandbird.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Honestly, I think I hate these guys more in Galaxy than I hate them in this game. Because...
recovery time.
You know what? Actually, now that I'm looking at this game again, like, the graphics in Mario Sunshine have aged really nicely. This is probably one of the better looking GameCube games in total.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Like, I'm looking, the effect for, like, the mirror here especially is particularly impressive, too. Like, because it is actually reflecting what it should reflect given the angle and whatnot. Like, that's pretty damn cool, all things considered. And, you know, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but, like, with games becoming more high fidelity at the time, this is the kind of effect that they would have shown in magazine and been like, look at this high definition mirror graphics. And as a kid, I wouldn't have even noticed it.
But they were doing that with the GameCube, not necessarily with the reflections, but with the amount of shit we can put on the screen at once.
I mean, what is Pikmin built just a tech demo for how much shit you can put on the screen?
But that's just the thing. For me as a kid, graphics didn't really matter to me unless, like, they actively impeded the experience. Like, if the graphics were so bad I couldn't tell what was going on, or the performance was so bad.
I mean, a lot of people do say that, right? That graphics didn't really matter to them, but at the same time, you do feel it when the graphics are bad. Or when the graphics are poorly executed.
You're like, sometimes I hear these stories, and sometimes I wonder if I was the outlier, because I was a total graphics whore as a kid. Like, the better the game looked, the more I wanted to play it.
I guess it's more just a matter of the way that I play games. I just didn't notice certain things. Like, Banjo-Tooie is one of my favorite games of all time. It has really good graphics for the N64, and I didn't notice any of it. Like, there's cool lighting tricks with multiple shadows and whatnot, and I was just like bear and bird, and I run around, good game.
Right, you know? But there's a difference between, like, not consciously thinking about it and not caring about it. Like, you might not be thinking about how charming Banjo-Kazooie looks while you play it, but the fact that it is so charming in its aesthetic is part of what identifies it to you in your mind, and it feeds into your experience playing the game. You might not be thinking about it, but then you don't think about it when you go outside and all the trees are nice and you've been there a million times before, so you're just kind of relaxed and it's in the back of your brain, you know? But you still like it.
I get what you mean. I actually have been making it an active thing where I be grateful for when it's nice outside, and I'm like, oh, the trees look nice today. That's like an mindfulness thing that I've been trying to do in the real world lately. But I absolutely get what you mean, and it's part of why, even as a kid, when you've played a good game and then you play like a licensed game or just like shovelware or something, even if you don't have the experience or the words to say why it feels that way, but even as a kid, you can tell when you're playing something worse and something that just feels off. Like, it's not as polished and doesn't look as good. Like, anybody who's played a Mario 64 or a Banjo or a Sly or Ratchet or whatever knows what it feels like when you played an imitation platformer that wasn't anywhere near the quality because, you know, your grandma saw it and said, oh, my grandson likes that show, and bought it for you.
Right.
You know?
You don't necessarily have to know anything about the finer points of animation to be able to tell when the animation is a bit stiff.
Exactly.
It's a thing that, like, I understand the basic point of the discussion when people bring it up. Like, there was a massive pushback against graphics as a design priority because people saw it as taking time and energy away from making the gameplay better. And I understand that, and it's true in a lot of cases. But what people need to realize is that there is a valuable creativity in the artistry of graphics, and it does contribute in a material way to your experience with a game. So, I doubt even the people who say they don't care about graphics want everything they play to look like Pong for the rest of eternity. It's just not something that, like.
So this was something that because I remember this pretty vividly because this was when I started, you know, watching YouTube a lot. It's like the late 2000s and early 2010s. That became a pretty big, like, point among, you know, early YouTubers was like, oh, graphics don't matter, it's the gameplay that matters. Or it's like, oh, story doesn't matter, it's the gameplay that matters. And it's like, in some ways, yes, but games are also a cohesive whole, you know, and they're about the pieces coming together. You know, Mario.
Doesn't that also argue? Game. Isn't that genre by genre though too?
Yes, but like I was gonna get there. Like Super Mario Sunshine, you know, the story doesn't particularly matter in this game. It doesn't really detract or add much to the experience. I would.
No, it detracts. Fuck out, Delfino.
Well, but like, you know, there's other games like, say, Ratchet and Clank, where people would say that the story adds to the experience and makes the game feel much more alive and worth playing. And it's just like, if you took the story out of Ratchet and Clank, you probably would have a worse game.
Well, I mean, that's a good example because there is a distinct narrative and stylistic difference between early Ratchet and Clank on the PS2 and latter-day Ratchet and Clank on the PS3 and onward. And it has a lot to do with tone, theme, and character.
So I'm not super familiar with the Ratchet games. I've been meaning to play them for like 15 years.
I think I have an inkling on what Lewis is getting at, despite not playing those games for myself yet, because I've only played the PS2 games and the PSP's games.
Oh, aren't the PSP games the really bad ones?
Yeah, but we're talking strictly story and like tone and characters.
Yeah, but like the John knows what I'm talking about when I say that the PS2 era of Ratchet and Clank had a very laser focused satirical tone that focused on consumerism, which makes it becoming a bit of a consumerist series itself a bit sad in retrospect. But you know,
what happens when franchises are successful? It'll happen to you too.
You either die the Clank or live long enough to become the.
I don't think that.
Either
my script is broken.
You die a YouTuber, or you live long enough to see yourself become a BrainScratch.
Oh, I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
I wouldn't either. In fact, I'm watching right now. Oh, look at that! The part's over.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys all next time.